Sì, adesso siamo sul tetto, aspettiamo l'elicottero che ci venga a prendere. Sì, è un disastro, no, tutto a puttane.
Qui davanti, macchina di fatto, è arrivata la pena, boia mondo.
Lo so, piove. È molto realistico. Guarda questo che arriva, ce la fa? Allora possiamo passare anche noi.
Guarda sta rapido qui, qui la tiene badata. No, ma non...
Vedete il ristorante?
Sto facendo il video. Sì, dai, adesso facciamo il video e... Ale, guarda come fai, mira, guarda. Oh. Fare giusto, fare giusto. Sono forte la corrente?
Direct flooding in Emilia Romagna September 19, Faenza floods, Montone breaks its dike in Forlì, Idice, and Sillaro in the Bolognese area. More than 1,000 people evacuated. Bologna, September 19, 2024, the province of Ravenna, once again, is the one that bears the brunt of this terrible wave of bad weather. Faenza goes underwater again, looks at Bagnacavallo and Lugo, while Senio breaks its dike in Cotignola. In this area, 5 people were recovered by helicopter.
L'elicottero che ci venga a prendere. Sì, è un disastro, no, tutto a puttane.
Emilia-Romagna recalls the floods. In short, Modigliana and Castrocaro are hurt by the increasingly overflowing river, fear and damage also in Castel Bolognese. Montone and Forlì, the Idice and Budrio in the Bolognese area, and Sillaro in the Imola area.
Estamos acá con el autobús, mira, que no podemos entrar al trabajo. Mamma mia.
Therefore, fear also returns to Bologna. Refugees in Pianoro, Rastignano, and the Savina district. Ravone and Reno are back on their feet, then the situation improves. Last night, there was also a lot of fear for the Marecchia di Rimini, which reached the red threshold at 11 p.m. Fortunately, the river receded quickly. The regional president, Irene Priolo, spoke of a total of 1,000 refugees today. She recalled that there were 45,000 last year. While of the 23 rivers that have flooded in 2023 so far, 5 watercourses have been observed in particular: Senio, Marzano, Limone, Montone, and Idice. Today, schools are closed in half the region. Thousands of people are forced to spend the night away from home, some with friends and relatives, and many in sports halls hastily opened by the municipality. In the silence of fear, helicopters are heard flying again. Firefighters use rubber boats to rescue people trapped inside their homes, with more than 500 interventions in the last 24 hours. Elderly, disabled, sick, people with mobility difficulties. The nightmare returns according to the script that no one wants to relive. In Montone, the dikes broke in two places. In Forlì, the Romiti neighborhood escaped the flood, although there was flooding in the basements and basements. However, the Montone dike broke in two places, downstream of the city on the outskirts. The hamlet of Villanova was the most affected, perhaps even worse than in 2023. The dike collapsed via Cotignola and at the top of the Braldo Bridge via Lughese. The red alert also remains in force on Friday, September 20, but the rainfall is starting to decrease. Given the high cumulative rainfall, high hydrometric levels will be maintained in the mountainous parts of the watercourses and the critical hydrogeological conditions that extend to the Bologna and Romagna regions. In the area of the Sea of Modena, the bridges over the rivers and the Modena River basin remain closed for the time being for precautionary reasons, closed at night. The flood peak is in transit, and the possibility of reopening will be evaluated in the coming hours, also based on the trend of the meteorological phenomenon. Therefore, the Ponte Alto Sol Secchia and the Usolino Bridge between Modena and Sillaro remain closed to traffic, while the province confirms the closure of the Navicello Vecchio Bridge over the Pinero on the branch of the provincial road 255. The Curtatone Road Bridge is also closed on the Tipeto stream. There are currently around 1,000 displaced citizens, but the number is not significant in terms of the impact on the population. We do not have the numbers of last year when we reached 45,000 displaced people. This is a photo of the evolution of the bad weather in Emilia Romagna illustrated by the President Iron Priolo during a press conference. After last year's floods, the security of the territory and the population was successful.
Buongiorno nuovamente a tutti, qui siamo dall'altra parte di Via Cimatti.
We carried out preventive evacuations, citizens went upstairs and adopted all the correct behaviors, recalled the president. Compared to the event of 2023, fewer rivers were affected by the event. Last year, we had the flooding of 23 rivers. In this case, we managed the phenomenon in a smaller basin. The most worrying situation is that of Faenza, where the Lemon River does not cause problems. The city is not flooded. The flood of the Lemon, which has already crossed several areas, is now causing fear in Bagnacavallo, where Mayor Matteo Giacomoni, after last night's flood, issued a new regulation for the evacuation of residents and businesses from the industrial areas of the hamlets of Treversara, Borgado di Treversara, Villanova, Glory, and in the central and northern parts of the municipality. The regulation temporarily prohibits living in basements, ground floors, and mezzanines of buildings, excluding the first and upper floors in some areas.